Today, we are going to talk about something that's considered gospel in personal finance, the goal of paying off your mortgage. I mean, it's the dream, right? The ultimate sign of financial security. But what if I told you that this deeply held belief, this finish line that millions of us spend our entire lives racing towards, is actually the single biggest financial mistake a homeowner can make? We're going to break down a philosophy that flips this entire idea on its head, arguing that a paid-off home isn't freedom, it's a trap that could be costing you millions.
And this right here is the question we really have to wrestle with. That feeling of security, it's powerful, it's emotional, but here's the thing. Emotions don't build wealth. Systems do. The perspective we're digging into today says that this feeling is an illusion, and it's an illusion that's actively holding you back from real, lasting financial freedom. You see, there are really two financial games being played. There's the default game, that's the one most people are playing. And then there's a game of intention, of financial engineering. By the end of this, you'll see exactly why paying off that mortgage puts you firmly on the losing team.
But before we get into the nuts and bolts, the numbers and the strategy, just a quick note. We spend a lot of time breaking down these complex ideas. So if you get any value out of this, do me a huge favor and hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. And hey, if you're looking to put these ideas to work and need a top-notch real estate agent, or if you need to protect your family with life insurance, my team and I can help you out no matter where you are in the country. All the links for that are right down there in the description.
All right, here's our game plan. First, we're going to completely reframe this whole conversation by asking the right question about your mortgage. Then, we're going to systematically tear down the 3 big reasons people want to pay off their homes. We'll start with the security myth. Then, we're going to get our hands dirty with the numbers in the cash flow calculation. After that, I'll show you how to actually start winning the equity game. And finally, we'll zoom all the way out to the most critical part of this whole thing. What financial game are you actually playing?
You know, the quality of your financial life, heck, the quality of your entire life, it really comes down to the quality of the questions you ask yourself. And when we talk about a home, which is most people's biggest asset and biggest liability, almost everyone is asking a really low-quality, limiting question. They're stuck in this simple yes or no trap that slams the door on way more powerful and, frankly, way more profitable options.
So this is the big shift in thinking right here. The old default question is, should I pay off my home? And that just leads to a yes or a no, usually based on some vague feeling of fear or wanting to keep things simple. But that's not strategic thinking. The better question, the question that unlocks real financial engineering, is why do I want to pay off my home? See, this question forces you to go deeper, to get to the real motivation. And once you know your why, your actual goal, then you can start to figure out if paying down the mortgage is really the best way to get there. And let me tell you, it's almost never the most efficient path.
And after looking at this for years, that why pretty much always boils down to one of these 3 things. First, and this is the most powerful one, people want to feel more secure. They just want that single biggest monthly bill to vanish, thinking it'll make them bulletproof. Second, they want more monthly cash flow. They dream about what they could do with that extra couple $1,000 a month. And third, they want to build home equity. They see their house as a piggy bank and they're in a rush to fill it up and boost their net worth. Look, these are all good goals. The problem isn't the goal. It's the strategy people use to get there. So let's break them down one by one.
Okay, let's start with the big one, the emotional heavyweight that drives almost every major financial move, the desire for security. The dream is simple, right? If I can just get rid of this mortgage payment, I'll be safe, I'll be set, my worries will just evaporate. But this feeling is built on something we can call the payment illusion. It's a really dangerous oversimplification of what it actually costs to live in a home.
The hard reality is you don't have one home payment, you have 5. The mortgage, that's your principal and interest, is just the first one. Then you've got property taxes. These things never go away. In fact, they almost always go up. And if you stop paying them, guess what? The government will happily take your paid-off home. Then there's homeowner's insurance, also not optional. And those rates can jump like crazy. And of course, you've got utilities and maintenance, the quiet budget killers that are always there.
And this is what really exposes the illusion. After 30 years of hard work, of saving every penny to kill that mortgage, you only get rid of one of these 5 payments. You are still on the hook every single month for taxes, for insurance, for the water heater that just broke. In fact, you could argue a paid-off home makes you less secure because now all your money is tied up in one illiquid asset that you still have to feed cash into every month just to maintain it. Your monthly bill doesn't go away, it just gets smaller. Real security doesn't come from killing one payment. It comes from building income streams that can cover all of them.
Okay, so if the promise of total security is a myth, let's move on to that second why.
increasing your monthly cash flow. Now, this is a much more logical goal. The idea is simple. Get rid of the mortgage to free up that money. But again, we have to ask that engineer's question. Is dumping all my extra cash into my mortgage the fastest, most efficient way to get there? Let's run the actual numbers on the two paths you can take.
So for our example, let's use a real-world scenario. We'll take a median home in California. Let's say it's priced around $873,000 with a mortgage of $650,000. And let's say you were lucky enough to lock in a 4.9% 30-year fixed rate. That puts your main mortgage payment, your P&I, at about $3,400 a month. Now, let's say you work some magic in your budget and you find an extra $365 a month. The conventional wisdom screams, throw it at the mortgage. But what does that actually do for you?
You really have two choices for that extra cash. Option one is the old school path. You send it straight to the bank to pay down your loan principal. When you do this, you're basically getting a guaranteed 4.9% return because that's the interest you're no longer paying. It feels safe, it feels responsible. The huge problem? That money is now gone. It is totally locked up, completely immobile inside the four walls of your house. Option two is to take that exact same $365 and invest it somewhere else, into an asset that's actually designed to grow and kick off its own income.
Now listen closely, because this is the critical flaw in option one that almost everybody misses. Even if you religiously pay that extra $365 every single month for 10 straight years, your required monthly payment of $3,400 does not change one bit. You don't get a single penny of cash flow relief today. All you've done is turn your liquid cash into illiquid equity. It's literally like taking cash out of your wallet and burying it in the backyard. Yeah, you'll pay the loan off a few years earlier, but you haven't improved your monthly financial situation at all. In fact, by getting rid of your cash, you've made yourself more fragile.
Now let's look at the mind-blowing power of option two. Let's say you take that same $365 a month and put it into a simple, diversified portfolio. Think index funds, something that has historically averaged around 10.75% a year. Now, of course, that's not a guarantee, it's a long-term average, but it's a realistic benchmark. Here is where the magic happens. After just 20 years of doing this consistently, the passive income, the dividends, the interest thrown off by that investment portfolio alone would be enough to cover your entire $3,400 mortgage payment. Think about that for a second. Your investment is now paying your mortgage for you, and you never had to trap an extra dollar in your house. But it gets so much better. If you just let that machine keep running, the law of compounding does something truly incredible.
After 40 years, that small, consistent investment of just $365 a month, it compounds into an asset that generates $67,000 in income every single month. Just let that number sink in. Your original goal was to maybe get rid of a $3,400 bill. By choosing a smarter strategy, you instead created an income stream that's almost 20 times bigger than the payment you were trying to eliminate in the first place. This is an income that lasts for the rest of your life. This is a legacy. So which path gives you better cash flow? The one that gives you zero monthly relief and traps your money? Or the one that builds a lifelong money machine that dwarfs the original problem? It's not even a fair fight.
Okay, we're at the halfway point, and those numbers are pretty staggering. If this is already starting to shift the way you think about money, do me a favor and hit that like button, and make sure you're subscribed so you can join us for more deep dives just like this. And don't forget, if you need help navigating your own real estate journey or making sure your family is protected with life insurance, my team is here for you. All the info is waiting for you in the description below. All right, let's get back to it.
So we've smashed the security myth, and we have laid out a mathematically superior way to create cash flow. That brings us to our third and final why, building equity. A lot of people see their home as a kind of forced savings account, their main way of growing their net worth. And so, again, we have to ask the engineer's question. Is putting my extra money into my mortgage the most efficient way to build my overall equity? Let's find out.
Before we even start comparing returns, we need to understand a secret weapon that works in your favor when you hold long-term fixed-rate debt. It's called inflation arbitrage. Your $3,400 mortgage payment is locked in today's dollars. But over 30 years, we all know inflation is going to eat away at the value of a dollar. The money that buys you a full cart of groceries today might only buy you half a cart in 20 years. But guess what? Your mortgage payment will still be $3,400. You are literally paying back your loan with cheaper and cheaper money over time. As your income hopefully rises with inflation, your single biggest payment stays frozen in time. This is a huge invisible tailwind that you give up the second you pay that loan off early.
And the other side of that coin is what we've been talking about, the capital immobilization trap. Real wealth is built with velocity, with getting your money moving and working for you in multiple places at once. It's about making $1 do the job of 5. When you prepay your mortgage, you take your most flexible tool, your cash, and you turn it into your least flexible asset, your home equity. That money is trapped. It's stuck. It can't be put to work in other opportunities that could be generating way higher returns and making you wealthy at a much faster pace. You've basically put your financial army in prison voluntarily.
So let's think about this like an equity race. For 30 years, you're investing that extra $365 a month. On path 1, you put it in the mortgage. Your return is a guaranteed 4.9%, the interest you save. It's safe, it's predictable, but man, is it slow. On path 2, you put it in a simple S&P 500 index fund. Historically, that's done about 10% a year. After 30 years, you'd have a liquid investment worth over $820,000, instead of just a paid-off house. Now, just to illustrate the power of this, and this is not investment advice, imagine you found a higher risk asset that returned 20% a year. That same $365 a month could grow to over $18 million.
I mean, in some scenarios, it could be as high as $22 million. Again, these giant numbers aren't a promise. They're just a demonstration of the raw power of compounding math. The point is, the equity game isn't just about saving. It's about the rate of your growth. The opportunity cost of locking your money into a safe but low-return asset like your mortgage it's astronomical. You're not just giving up a few percentage points here and there. Over a lifetime, you are giving up an entirely different financial future for yourself and your family.
And this brings us to the real heart of the matter, the question that's underneath all of this. This isn't really about mortgages or cash flow. It's about your entire philosophy when it comes to money. Are you consciously and deliberately engineering the life you want, or are you just following the default script that somebody else wrote for a world that doesn't exist anymore?
I run my life by a very simple but very powerful idea. Build or be built. And it means we all have a choice every single day. We can either be the architect of our own life, intentionally designing the future we want to live in, or we can just be passive and allow ourselves to be built by the systems, by social pressure, by the default path that are laid out for us. And nowhere is that choice more important than with your money. Following the herd is the fastest way to get the herd's results. And for most people, that means just getting by.
We have to wake up and realize the game has changed. The old playbook, go to school, get a good job, put 10% in a 401k, and pay off your house. That was written for the industrial era, a time of pensions and stable economies. That world is gone. We are now living in a system of constant long-term inflation, where the cost of everything keeps outpacing our salaries. Playing by the old rules today is like trying to win a football game using the rules for baseball. You are set up to fall further and further behind.
So the big takeaway here is to adopt an engineer's mindset. Stop asking, what should I do? And start asking, what do I want to create? Define your ideal outcome with total clarity. Is it $20,000 a month in passive income? Is it a liquid net worth of $10 million? Whatever it is, once that target is locked in, you can work backward, just like an engineer designing a bridge, and you can build the most efficient, most robust plan to get there. You stop just hoping for the best, and you start building for a specific result. And that means using tools like cheap long-term debt as a strategic asset, not as an enemy you have to destroy.
This is a truth that so many high-income earners completely miss, and it's tragic. It's why so many people making six figures are still living paycheck to paycheck. Your salary, that's just revenue. It's the raw material. It is not wealth. Wealth isn't something you earn by trading your time for money, no matter how much you make per hour. Wealth is something that has to be consciously, systematically, and intentionally engineered. It requires a blueprint, a system, and a mindset that operates on a completely different level than the default script.
So I'm going to leave you with this to think about. If you accept that wealth must be engineered, not just earned, then what outcome are you actively engineering for yourself right now? Are you following a plan that's designed to make you feel safe, or are you building a machine that's designed to produce cash flow and exponential equity? Are you playing to not lose, or are you playing to win? The choice and the results are completely up to you.
And that's a wrap on this explainer. I really hope this has given you a new, more powerful way to think about your mortgage and your entire financial strategy. If it did, I'd really appreciate you hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel for more content that goes against the grain. And finally, if you want to put these ideas into action and need a hand with your real estate or life insurance needs, my team is ready to help. You can find us using the links in the description.